Hello everyone, we are going to start with the section C question, and the first question over here that I have is rob a company. Before reading out the entire question, let me just read out the requirement first, and it is the requirement of this question is advise rob a company whether whether it should continue to manufacture the keypad and display screens in house, or whether it should outsource their manufacture to the supplier in Burgistan. Assume it continues to adopt a policy to limit the manufacture and sales to 80,000 control panels in the coming year. So, okay. Now, if we read the question, that robber company manufactures control panel for burglar alarms, a very profitable product. Every product comes with a 1-year warranty, offering free repairs if any faults arise in this period. It currently produces and sells 80,000 units per annum, with production of them being restricted by the short supply of labor. Each control panels includes two main components, one keypad and one display screen. At present, robber company manufactures both of these components in-house. However, the company is currently considering outsourcing the production of keypad or display screen. A newly established company based in Burgistan is keen to secure a place in market and has offered to supply the keypads for the equivalent of 4.10 and 4.3 per unit. So first of all, I would like to calculate the cost of, okay. First of all, I would like to calculate the cost of buying. I think this was fine. So the cost of buying for keypad, and this was display screen. I have to calculate now the units. How many units are there? There are 80,000 units for both of them. For the cost of buying for keypad, it's given in the question as 4.1, and for this it is given as 4.3. So the relevant cost of buying is, the cost of buying is 80,000 into 4.1, which is 3,28,000, and this is 80,000 into 4.3, which is 3,44,000. So this is the cost of buying. Now, cost of making, we need to calculate the cost of making. For that, I will that will be calculated based on the cost which has been given in the question over here: direct material, direct labor, heat and power, and machine cost, depreciation and insurance. And all the notes have been given which are relevant to them. So first I will take the material cost, and for material cost we have note number 1: material cost for keypad are expected to increase by 5% for 6 months time, and for display screen they are supposed to increase by 2%. So first I will calculate the material cost. Now the material cost, okay, I had done some calculation over here which I forgot to remove. Yeah, nothing is there now. I'll calculate the material cost over here, assuming that these are my working notes actually. Now material cost for keypad. For keypad it's saying it's 160. So all these numbers are not being converted into, I'm not multiplying these numbers into 80,000. Why? Because we need to be very careful. There can be a careless mistake. What lots of students can do, they can multiply 160 by 80,000, but no, over here the figures are given in thousands. So this is the entire cost for 80,000 and not the per unit cost. Okay. So material cost for keypad is 160 for 6 months, and for rest of the 6 months it has increased by 5%. So I can write it over here like this: 160 into 6 by 12, this is 80,000 plus 160 into 1.05 into 6 by 12, this is 84,000, and hence I will get this as 84,000 plus 80,000 as 1,64,000. So I will write my material cost as 1,64,000 over here. And what is the material cost for display screen? What is the material cost for display screen? The material cost for display screen has been said that it has increased by 2% only. So the material cost over here is 116, and it has increased by 2%. So the cost is 116, and it is 118320. Okay, so I'll write it over here as 118320. So my material cost is done. After that it is asking about labor cost, and the labor cost is saying that it does not expect to be changed over the next year. So I'll take it as it is. That is 40,000 and 60,000. After that this is asking me to calculate the heat and power, but for heat and power they have written that apportionment of that, some apportionment of this would be included in the general factory overheads, hence this will not be included in this case. And 50% of the labor cost. Okay, so 50% of the labor cost are included in the heat and power as what? As so 50% of the labor cost are included in the heat and power cost, and that portion is not related to the production. They are just general factory overheads, so we do not include general factory overheads, and hence I will have to exclude them. Heat and power, or I can calculate over here as well. Heat and power for keypad, the heat and power cost for keypad is 64, and from here I will have to reduce the 50% of the labor cost. So what was the labor cost for keypad? It was 40,000. So I'll reduce the 50% of labor cost, which is 44,000. And after that I will have this display screen as well. So the display screen okay, the display screen had 88,000. minus 50% of the labor cost. What was the labor cost for display screen? It was 60,000. So 50% of 60,000, 30,000, and it will be 58,000. So I can say that the heat and power cost are 44,000 and 58,000. I have calculated that. Now what is left? Machine cost. Machine cost are semi-variable cost, okay? And in machine cost, if they are semi-variable cost, alright, so in this case it is saying that the machine cost has some cost as fixed cost, okay? So if I'm given fixed cost, then what I need to do? I will write it over here as separately fixed cost. Now machine setup cost 4,000 and 6,000, and the remaining cost, that is 26,000 minus 4,000 and 30,000 minus 6,000, that will be semi-variable. But it has given some information about semi-variable as well, that the components currently are made in the batches of 500. If it has said that they are made in the batches of 500, that means 500 is the current batch size. We do not know what are the current batch numbers. So for semi-variable, machine cost, the batch size which is current is 500. So number of batches for keypad and display screen, because both of them have same number of units, so I do not need to calculate again and again, so I can just do it once. That is 80,000 divided by 500, and I'll get the number of batches. So there are 160 batches which are being currently produced. Now in case of keypad, my keypad cost would be 26,000. The keypad cost is 26,000. I will have to exclude the fixed cost of 4,000 from here. So the current cost is 26,000. I'll exclude the 4,000 cost and I will divide it by this 160, and the current the new number of batches. I didn't calculate the new number of batches, right? So let me calculate the new number of batches as well. Yeah, so let's calculate the new number of batches as well. So the new number of batches for keypad and display screen, because the number of units are same, would be what? I think the new batch size is 400, so the new batch is 80,000 divided by 400, that is 200. Now I will calculate the variable cost for keypad and display screen. Okay, now the relevant cost for keypad, it's given that the cost is 160. So no, not the cost, sorry. So the variable cost would be 26,000 minus the fixed cost 4,000, which will be divided by the old number of batches into the new number of batches, and this will be 26,000 minus 4,000 divided by 160 into 200. So the semi variable cost is 27,400, and for display screen it was 30,000. 30,000 minus 6,000 divided by old number of batches into new number of batches. So it will be 30,000 minus 6,000 divided by 160 into 200. This is 30,000. So this is my variable machine cost. I'll write it over here. What was that? 30,000. Okay. Now I think we have covered everything, or something is left. Yeah, depreciation is also left, and for depreciation it is saying that 60% of the depreciation cost relates to apportionment of factory overheads or factory depreciation. So we do not need to take the factory overheads. We'll only take this the remaining 40%. So depreciation cost was 84 and 96. So 84,000 and 40% of it is 33,600, and that was 96,000. So 40% of 96,000 is 3840. Now we need to calculate what is the total cost. The total cost is 1,64,000 plus 40,000 plus 44,000, 27,500, 4,000, 33,600. So I get 313,100, and over here 183,20 plus 60,000, 58,000, 30,000, 6,000, 38,400. So this is 310,720. Now one thing can be done. If I can just reduce, let's see, if I just subtract the buying cost from this making cost in case of keypads, which is 3,28,000 minus 31,310. So it will give me 14,900. 14,900 divided by 80,000. No, so it is giving me 0.19 per unit cost. Okay, then what is the saving? Savings are 3,28,000 minus 31,310, which is 14,900, and in case of display screen it's 344,000 minus 310,720, which is 33,280. So I can say in both the cases I am saving by making the components both of them in-house. So I would suggest that both a display screen and keypad components should be made in-house rather than buying them from outside. So my first part is done now. B part, let's read about it. B part is saying if robber company takes 0.5 labor hours to produce a keypad and 0.75 labor hours to produce display screen. Okay, the labor hours are restricted to 1 lakh hours, and labor is paid 1 per hour. Okay. So robber company wants to increase its supply to 1 lakh control panels. Fine. So I think how as advise robot company as to how many units of keypad and display panels should they should panels they should either manufacture or outsource to minimize their cost. So I guess this is kind of a limiting factor thing which is now asked. So the limited hours are limited till 1 lakh hours, and they have given that as per this, the robber company would produce the units, like each unit would require zero point 0.5 labor hour in case of keypad, and in case of display screen 0.75 hours per unit would be required. Fine, but we have no, we then will have to calculate the contribution as well, right? Okay. But let's read the question. Do we have to calculate the contribution? Because it's saying advise robber company as to how many units of keypads and display panels they should either manufacture or outsource. Okay. Now, there are some changes in the labor hours. Okay, over here I do not know, we do not know how much were the labor hours. The labor hours were actually same, but now in question B, what they have said is, now they have given us the labor hours being taken by them, and they have said that they are restricted. Since the labor hours are restricted, so it can, we might need to evaluate how many components can be produced internally, or rest of them can be sold externally. Okay, so keypad and display screen, cost of buying, was 4.1 and 4.1 and 4.3. And what is the cost of making them internal? Variable cost. Okay, did we calculate the variable cost? Let me just see. We had bifurcated the cost, but now see 1,64,000 plus 44,000. Okay. Now this is, subjective, because you can either take the heat and power cost. No, the heat and power cost can be included as the variable cost, or it cannot be included as variable cost. In some of the solution, you might see that they have been included as the variable cost. Either ways it's right. Okay, you can include them, you cannot include them, so it's up to you, totally up to you. And then so what I've chosen is not to include them. So my variable cost is 2,31,500. And in case of display screen, I'm calculating. It's coming out like 2,08,3 320, so I'll divide them by 80,000. In case of keypad, I get 231,500 divided by 80,000, and it will be 2.89. In case of display screen, it will be 208,320 divided by 80,000, and it will be 2.604. So I would reduce it and I would calculate the savings. 4.1 minus 2.89, I get savings by this. Now I have been given labor hours. Labor hour per unit. Labor hour per unit is 0.5 and 0.75, I guess. Yeah. 0.5 and 0.75, and so I would get savings per labor hour. So 1.21 divided by 0.5, it's 2.42. 1.696 divided by, it's 2.26. Okay, so this is rank 1 and this is rank 2. Now I will take keypad. Have they given that how many units keypad would make as minimum? No, so they have mentioned that they would require 1 lakh each. So if keypad takes 1 lakh units and hours per unit is 0.5, the available hours are also 1 lakh. Okay, so it will be 1 lakh into 0.5, that is 50,000, and 50,000 minus this will be the balance amount 50, and 2 requires 0.75, so the number of units that it can make internally are 50,000 divided by 0.75, that is 66667. That means display screen can make these many units. So the production plan in this case can be, for keypad, produce 1 lakh units internally. Okay, in case of display screen, produce 6667 units internally and by 1 lakh minus 66667, which is 5 times 3 by units from outside. Okay, so this is the production plan. So B is also done. Then it is asking us to discuss. Now this is something theoretical, this is all discursive. Then it is asking us that discuss non-financial factor that robber companies should consider when making a decision about outsourcing the manufacture of keypads and display screen. So the non-financial factor can be the company offering to supply the keypads, or the display screen is a new company. So it is quite risky, right? It is quite risky, as in the new supplier will not be able to supply continuously, means there is a risk to the consistency as well, consistency in supplying the units. Plus, if it supplies, there can be a risk of consistency with the consistency in the quality as well. The quality of the display screen or the keypads, whatever are outsourced, should not be compromised. So that is another potential risk, that the quality can be compromised, and if the quality is compromised, then it can, degrade the goodwill of or the yeah, the goodwill of the company as well, which is robber company. So there's a big risk of that as well. And the prices also, the prices which have been agreed between robber company and this new company, the supplier, the prices which might have been agreed at a particular point of time might change. So this is another risk, that it can be that can impact into losses as well, that can lead to losses as well in the future. Now, delivery time can be another issue, that the time taken in the delivery, what shall it be? So there are a lot of risk related to the delivery schedule as well, if the units are purchased from outside. So these are some of the factors. The primary factors can be the quality, delivery schedule, or the prices. These are all non-financial factors which can impact. So that's it from my end.